Hey guys, it's Ellie from Maxon. Today we're going to have a quick look at how to shatter an object using the Voronoi Fracture. If you want to find out more about the Voronoi Fracture, be sure to check out the help menu in Cinema 4D. The word Voronoi comes from a Voronoi diagram in maths. Basically, it's the partitioning of a plane into regions using a set of points, and for each point there's a corresponding region. So effectively, the Voronoi Fracture is going to fracture or split an object into regions or fragments, as they call them in Cinema 4D, using a select number of points. And this will make sense as soon as I get into getting a model, putting it in the Voronoi Fracture. You'll then see what I mean by that. So what we're going to create today is this still image that I've done. Yours may not necessarily be a heart. You can choose whatever model you want and you'll still be able to follow along with this tutorial and create something similar and cool looking like this. So let's crack on in Cinema. So if you open up your model, for me it's the Heart Cinema 4D. So I'm going to delete that. So this is the model that I'm going to be fracturing. You might be using something from the content browser, something from online. One of the primitive objects that you can find in here, that's absolutely fine. You'll still get quite a cool result using it this way. I just decided to go for a heart because I thought, why not? So with my model selected, with my heart, hold down Alt, go to MoGraph, select the Voronoi Fracture. And you can kind of get an idea already of what the Voronoi Fracture has actually done to the model. But to really see, we go to Object in Voronoi Fracture Attribute Manager. Let's put 1 centimetre. And if we zoom in, you can see here how it's really split this model into fragments. Also, as a quick tip, if you hold down 3 and then click the mouse and drag, you can rotate around 2 in and out, 1 side to side. I find it quite a good, easy way of working around cinema using keyboard shortcuts. So here we have our split heart at the moment. If we go into sources, point generator, you can select the point amount. So we can go down to 2. We can go up to 200. And each one of these fragments has a corresponding point. These little green dots here. If you don't want to see those, like I don't, you can set the little eye there and it will get rid of them. So the amount of points that you're going to want is going to depend on the size or shape of your model. But the good thing with this, because it's all live, we can actually change this as and when. So even at the end of this tutorial, if you then think, oh, I wish I'd got some more points, we can just add it, reduce it. It's really great like that. So for me, I think I want about 125. And I want them distributed on the top left-hand side of my model. You can decide you want top right, you might want them like this, you might want them on the bottom. But for what I want, and for how I've done this, I positioned them all up here, all of the points on my Voronoi Fracture. I'll show you how to do that. So where we had it on uniform, the distribution type, put that on exponential, and then you can decide where you want them to be. So I want mine to be up here. I'm gonna move that up that way a bit more. There we go, maybe. No, that's cool. That's great. That's exactly what I want. So next, let's get these ones moving out that way. But before I do that, I'm going to put my offset back down to 0 because I don't want here to split at all. I want that to remain as the whole heart model, and then the top left I want the points to just kind of shatter off kind of to the left hand side of the model, like I showed you in the previous still. So the way we do that, with our Voronoi Fracture selected in MoGraph Effector, plane. Then for now, turn off the position. And then what we want in our fall off, we want to select box. So at the moment, infinite is whatever we put in here is going to affect the entire of this. So the whole thing, whereas we only want it to affect these. So in our fall off, little drop down, box. Then we're going to move this box, or you can move yours on the section that you want to affect. Move that over, and if you hold T and click and drag, you'll be able to shrink it down, and the arrows come back. Oh no, don't grab those little orange squares. And then R to rotate that round. Maybe a little bit bigger perhaps. There we go. So now, whatever I put in my parameter, my position, scale and rotation, is only going to affect these points. So I want mine to go back a little bit, not too much though, maybe about that, and then up a little bit, and then out. And then, if we get in here, you can see we've got a box here that affects what's being affected. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's looking kind of cool. Yeah, I like that for now. I also want the bits that have broken off to be slightly shrunk, so as if they're kind of fading away a little bit as they're kind of have been broken off of the heart. So I want uniform scale. I'm going to turn this down by 0.2. No, minus 0.2, sorry. Yep. I like that. One last thing, have a little bit of rotation. Minus 20. Okay, I think I like that. Yep. Looks good. One quick thing though, if you're happy with your parameters here, so if you don't necessarily want to change this, but you're thinking it doesn't quite look right, maybe you haven't got enough points, or maybe they're not like distributed how you want them, if you go back into the Voronoi Fracture, back into sources, point generator, you've got something that's called a seed number, and that is the distribution of these points, sort of like this, but I'll tell you what, I'll show you. So if I just move this, you can see the distribution moves and changes and creates a different look. So you've still got your same parameters in here, and still the same that's getting affected, and the same number of points that are getting affected, but they look slightly different. So you can find one that you think looks quite cool, and I think that one looks kind of cool. So I'm going to keep that for now. And so that's that, the fracturing done, that's that model done effectively. So now all we have to do is texture and light this. So texture wise, I'm going to go for quite a simple looking marble effect because I think it looks quite cool and it's quite easy to do. So if we double click down in your material manager, create a new material, then double click that. Then in colour, So if you click on the texture, we want a layer, and then click that, and we're going to add a shader. I'm going to add a noise shader. So I'm going a little bit quick, otherwise we might be here for quite a while. And then we'll change one of the colours to marbly, so we want maybe a greeny colour. Yep, something like that. Yeah, cool. And then we want could have left that on white, couldn't I? Right, so then let's add a Luca, the global scale to 1000. And you can already see that it's kind of creating this funky looking thing. That's a little bit too dark for me. Okay. And you can, depending on how you want it to look, you can have a play with these until you find one that you like. Okay, so that's that bit done, and then go back into that again, and we're going to add another noise, and this time we'll do another green, but we'll do a little bit darker. This one we want, is it Naki? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I quite like that. You can never really tell until you get it on, but for now I think that looks quite good. And what I want to do, I want to multiply. So there we go, that's added those together. So that's looking quite funky. Then a bit of reflectance because it's marble. So we're going to add reflection 20 you did last time. Reflection strength, perhaps move that down. Yeah, I think that's fine for that. So we can just throw that on there. Yeah, so it's quite cool. We can have a little play with that after. And what I want the inside of my fragments to be a different colour to the outside. So if I remove that, on my Voronoi Fracture, on selections, I want inside faces and outside faces. And what that means is I can now apply materials to those different selection tags. So let's create the inside. So we'll go with, want a bump, so want a bit of roughness. So we add some noise, maybe about 50. And in colour, texture, noise again. And then what do we want? Should we go for let's go for a pinky colour, pink and white. And what did I do for this? Yeah, maybe something like that. Down to 25. 50. Okay, so if we apply a marble to the Voronoi, and we want that to only be on the outside. So if I click and drag my outside faces, and then click and drag my inside faces, it's looking okay. I think I want this one to be a bit darker. Yeah, and then this one. Yeah, I like that, but I don't like that colour. Yep, that's quite cool for now. So final thing will be our 2 lights. So we need an area light. Let's come up here. I'm just moving these round to add a bit of light on there. If I go into my light, I want shadow area, a little bit of yellow I think, but not too much. Then if we go to fall off, there we go, that's what I want. Move that in there, rotate that up. Okay, let's get a nice bit of light in there. And then copy that light. Let's move that up there and back a bit. Yeah, create some cool little shadows. And that second light, we want it slightly bluey, but not too much. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So find an angle that you like. Maybe turn it a little bit. That way perhaps. Yep. And then in my render settings, I'll throw on some ambient occlusion, global illumination, anti-aliasing best. And let's find somewhere to save that. So heart version 1. We want that as a JPEG, just to give us an idea of the image. And then, okay, so let's render that and have a quick look. Might take a little bit longer than normal with the ambient occlusion, the global illumination on, but that's absolutely fine. Gives you a nice idea. Nice realistic look. So that's looking pretty sweet. It's looking pretty good. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you got a good insight into what you can do with the Voronoi Fracture and have created your own quite cool looking image, maybe with some different textures, maybe with a different look. I will also be doing an animated version of this, so we'll have this bit of the heart, it'll shatter and kind of fall to the ground. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.